Madame Galasso, and this paper was written in 2008 and fits in the wider debate concerning social security spending and pension schemes. In particular, the authors focuses on the attention on a particular scheme, which is the pay-as-you-go social security system, and this system is a system in which current workers provide an intergenerational transfer to current retired. This kind of system is different from a fully funded system in which agents invest in assets in order to have a pension in the future. So the main purpose of the author is to examine whether electoral constraints may lead politicians to overspend in this kind of social security system. And the authors want to understand if there is an incentive for politicians to play strategically and leave an heavier burden to future generations. So this is the outline of the paper. First, the authors provide the ontological justification to a pay-as-you-go social security system. Indeed, they provide the conditions under which the system is Pareto improving, and it is a Pareto efficient intergenerational risk-sharing mechanism. Then they show two situations in which this kind of scheme arise, which is the situation in which a benevolent social planner cares about the well-being of present and future generations, and the case in which office-seeking politicians aim to win the election in a majoritarian electoral system. So they compare the level of social security spending in these two alternative cases, and their conclusion is that the level of spending in the case chosen by office-seeking politicians is higher than the social optimal level. So we now go on to see why this is the case. The setting is an overlapping generation model, and in every period two generations are alive, young and old. And young invest in order to consume in the future, and they can finance their future consumption investing in a risky asset or transferring their resources to the current old. This is represented by a fixed contribution to the government. So their consumption at time t+1 will be financed by the first part, which is the private wealth t+1, the rate of return of the risky asset multiplied by the share invested in the risky asset, and the other part will be financed by the new youngs that will provide this intergenerational transfer, and the rate of return of this intergenerational transfer is 1 plus n, which is the rate of growth of population. So in this framework, the only stochastic variable is RT, which is the rate of return of the risky asset, and a better realization of RT affects negatively the private wealth of current old and thus their consumption. So in this setting, the authors provide the conditions, the ontological justification to an intergenerational transfer from the current young to the old. And their proposition is that if the degree of risk aversion of individuals is sufficiently high, and there is a long-term player who can commit to future policies, an intergenerational transfer from old to young is Pareto efficient. And in this idealistic setting, the agents are maximizing their utility function under the budget constraint we have seen before, and provided that some conditions on the degree of risk aversion are fulfilled, the optimal level of intergenerational transfer is greater than 0. In this case, gamma is the inverse of the degree of risk aversion. So saying that gamma should be lower than a certain amount is equally to say that the individual must be sufficiently high risk averse. So this is the condition they derive for justifying the pay-as-you-go social security system, and they use this condition to implement their model and to compare the level of spending chosen by the social planner and office-seeking politicians. So in this new framework, agents take no economic decision because the optimal level of intergenerational transfer is chosen optimally by a social planner. So that after observing the realization of RT in the stock market, which affects all private wealth, maximizes the sum of the expected utilities, which are weighted by the rate of growth of population that grows geometrically, and by a key parameter which is delta, and it's the discount factor. So delta describes how much the social planner cares about current generation relative to future generation, young versus old. So the higher will be delta, the lower will be the intergenerational transfer, because there will be an higher weight to current young, so they will be less heavily taxed. In terms of, this is a dynamic optimization problem, and can be expressed in terms of the state variable, because the private wealth is the intertemporal link between generation, so this problem can be expressed in that way. And the result is that there is an optimal policy which is linear and is composed by a fixed part, a constant share of the endowment of current young devoted to the transfer, and a part which is responsive to the realization of wealth that is affected by the realization in the stock market. So we have different situations. The first situation is the first two situations are pathological cases in which we are outside the parameter space of interest, outside the conditions that delta should fulfill. So in these two cases, the transfer as an extreme form, it is a full expropriation in favor of the elderly if lambda is too low, if delta is too low, or in favor of the young if it is too high. But at the interior solution, the pattern is the same, so the hour is delta, and the lower is the optimal intergenerational transfer. They compare this level of spending with the level of spending chosen by officially politicians, and in this case, the pay-as-you-go system arises an equilibrium in a probabilistic voting game. The aim of politicians is to win the elections, so they choose the optimal level of T in order to maximize the probability of winning the election, which is term it is equal to maximizing the social welfare function. So the first part, UCT, is the consumption of current hold, while the second part is the expected utility, the young derived from consumption. And in this case, the weight phi y describes the weight of the young voters, the importance of the young voters in the vote. So as you will see later on, the higher will be this weight, the weight of young voters, the lower will be the optimal chosen intergenerational transfer. So this is the result, which is analogous to the result we have seen before. There is a fixed amount of intergenerational transfer, and a part which reduces this fixed amount according to the realization in the stock market and private wealth. So in this case, the policy is shaped by the political trade-off between bailing out the elderly and imposing a cost on the current young. And the key parameter in this framework is phi, which describes the importance of young voters in the vote. At an interior solution, indeed, politicians have to gain only the vote of the young to win the election, and this is a key result that will explain a strange result of this paper later on. So this is what you have seen so far, and in this graph there is a comparison between the two levels of spending. We have the two parameters of interest on the axis, delta, that is the parameter chosen by the social planner, and phi, which is the parameter in the vote that affect the decisions of politicians. So the level of spending chosen by politicians is greater than the optimal social level, when these two parameters are equal. So this is the main result of the paper. In other words, politicians provide more intergenerational transfer than the social optimal level. And this is due both to a higher fixed component, a larger fixed component, and to a lesser responsive reduction after the private wealth realization. So why politicians are likely to spend more than the social optimal level? The main answer to this question is persistency. Indeed, politicians act strategically because they take into account, while they take their own decision, the action of future politicians. Indeed, taxing heavily young today, they know that young will have a worse realization of private wealth in the future because they will devote to the risky asset a lower amount of resources, and they know that future politicians will compensate this lower realization of wealth in the future. So, in this framework, large political intervention today creates its own constituency for large political intervention tomorrow and leads to overspending. So, the key reason why politicians tend to spend more is persistency. And now we talk about a strange result of the paper, which is the effect of aging on the level of spending chosen by politicians and by the social planner, the social optimal level of spending. And in the framework of the model, aging implies a reduction of N because there are more recipients of the intergenerational transfer and lower providers. So this is reflected by a reduction of N. And the reduction of N implies an increase of the relative importance of the elderly, which imply a greater amount of intergenerational transfer provided by the social planner. But on the other hand, it decreases the rate of return of the transfer, which is 1 plus N. So the transfer will be less attractive for the youngs. And in order to gain the votes of the young, politicians will choose a lower optimal level of equilibrium of intergenerational transfer. So to keep TI, a reduction of N represents an increased electoral cost for politicians in this framework. So, concluding, we have seen that pay-as-you-go system and intergenerational transfer requires the existence of a long-term player who can commit to future policies, and this was true when we see the problem of maximization faced by individuals. But, however, even in the absence of commitment, there are these two cases in which both the social planner and the office-seeking politicians choose to adopt a social security system like this. And in the case of politicians, the optimal level of transfer is greater, and this is due to persistent policies. So they will keep transferring the current negative shocks into the infinite future. Thanks.
So I have anybody else's questions? I'm happy to leave them, but I have two. One is, what's better for society? Did they come to a conclusion? Is it better to have for society it's always better to have a social maximizer, but what's better for the young or for the old?
Yes.
Are they unanimous in their preference, or?
Yes, the author advocate a transition to...
No, in terms of whether there should be a government maximizing or elected politicians.
That's...
They don't address that.
No,
point.
They don't understand
okay.
the point. They only advocate to a different solution, which could be a transition to a different scheme,
right.
which entails the use of risk-free asset assets that will replace time value.
And the other question I have is about the counterintuitive results. Let me see if I get it right. So you're saying that as the number of people, as people live longer, so the elderly increase, they are individually worse off.
Yes, the point here is that at an interior solution, politicians already have the vote of the elderly,
Right.
so they have to gain the vote of the youngs.
Yeah.
So, given that the intergenerational transfers becomes less attractive to youngs because
Right.
the rate of return will be less, they have to choose an optimal level of intergenerational transfer which is lower.
Yeah.
So in this case, what I was saying before, a reduction of N represents an increased cost of maintaining TI
Yeah.
for politicians. So that's the point.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Any more questions? No? Good.